And we are going live right now. What's up, everybody? Steven here, the Horror Freak 85, here with Echo Zero and our special guest, Yolie, fellow Polonia pal. How are you tonight?
Good, good.
Thank you for joining us. I've had almost everybody but you, so welcome for your first time.
Well,
So,
thank you for having me. Thank you.
so yeah, it
It's
was
a pleasure.
great. Thank you. It was great meeting you for the first time on the set of the Stalking. So got to
Yeah,
work on a movie
you were
together.
very excited. I
I'm like,
said you
I
were
know
very
you.
excited on your first set. I know.
Well,
That was I'm
first Polonia set. I was
right,
on the Never Back Down set, but the
right, right,
difference
right.
was the difference was awesome though. So great experience, and so
Good, good.
so
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
so
Yeah.
you've been working with him for quite a while now. Done how many movies with him? About
Yeah, I can't even believe it that I've been in. Most of them has been a very brief appearance, and then I'm killed off. But almost 20. I think it's about 20 of them now. Yeah, and I've got to
Wow.
get it. I've got to get on that Tubi. I haven't seen most of them. I was like I was telling you, Steven. I haven't seen most of them, so I got to get that Tubi so I can
yeah,
start catching up on them.
I,
Yeah.
I, I know because I'm doing Shark Month on my channel. I'm gonna do. I have to look at all these shark movies, and a lot of them I'm seeing director Mark Clooney, Mark Clooney, Mark Clooney. I'm like, should this be the Shark Month, Mark Clooney Shark Month? There's so
It
many
should
of
be the
them.
Mark Polonia month. Yeah, he's done a lot of Sharkensteins. Yeah, he
Sharkenstein,
has.
Sharkula, Noah Shark,
And then
Like
what
goes
Shark
on
else?
and on and on and on and on. I was like, wow. I
Cocaine
I
Shark.
I
That's
I, I,
funny.
I yeah. Hey, I know shark movies are popular, but good grief, that's a lot.
It was funny. I was joking around, like I was like, "Yeah, how am I going to be initiated to the Plenty Pals? Do we worship the shark? Is there like a shark god?"
Yeah, it's yeah. In fact, just last summer we did it. We shot another. Uh, I don't even know. What's it? Sea Venge. We shot a shark. The last
Oh,
Yeah,
shark movie.
Jurassic Shark 3.
three.
Hobbs
Was
is
that
here.
it?
Which the first one was by somebody else, wasn't it? The first Jurassic Shark,
Brett Kelly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
So
and
we
didn't
got
see
then
that.
Hobbs is here. Let's see. My mom is here, and she said, "Can't wait to see you in the stocking."
Hi, mom.
So, yes, the stocking is going to be really good. As I always tell
it's a
people,
it's
it's
a it's, it's a good title though.
good kids, bad kids, killer plants. That's all we can say.
Hey,
I
So,
know.
you
And
had me at Kill a Plant, so
well, yeah, yeah. When I found out that it was the most cheerful flower that you could ever want, the big cheerful sunflower, and Jeff turned it into something
what?
horrible.
Hey, Potato Lee. I guess we got someone here from Sydney. So welcome. Wow.
oh,
Oh,
Thank you for
not
joining
the
us.
sunflower. I like seeing those things.
Yeah,
My
well, it was a
I
I
know.
think
It was
am I going to end
funny.
up not looking at them the same after the stalking?
No, yeah, and I think that was the whole point, was to turn them into something so sinister. It was
yeah.
funny. Yeah, yeah.
It was based on his little short from the anthology that he did, Halloween Tales. Or wait, Halloween. I think I'm saying that
Oh,
right. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Oh
oh, Jeff.
boy, look who we got now. Of course. What's up, Tim?
Who I just watched die in Sister Krampus.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sister
Return to Spider
Krampus.
Farm.
Well, he deserved it. He was horrible. He was a horrible
Yep.
soldier in Sister Krampus.
Yeah, he sure was.
But he wasn't turned into that an undead, skinless head thing like Jeff was.
Oh boy, the zombie. Yeah, oh, that was bad. Oh, that was good. Yeah, Sister Krampus. That was fun. Hey, I like Sister Krampus. I didn't have to die in that one. So that was good.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
played what was it, like the bar owner hotel or
Yeah.
what's the
The
word?
What do
end.
you think?
The end.
The lady
DMB lady.
Yeah. Yeah, and still don't even know what country we were. It was somewhere in Eastern Europe, I think.
I think that's all it said. There wasn't really anything but we're in Eastern Europe.
I'm not sure what country it was. Some Eastern European country.
Somewhere in this general area.
Yeah, some was around Germany because they kept saying Germans and stuff. Some was around there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So,
I mean, it beats having your arm ripped off by Sasquatch.
That's right.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yes.
And it made me mad too.
Will you guys fight over a broom or something? It's like almost like a broom or something.
It's still chasing after him with one arm. Yeah, give me my arm back.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
Well, thanks for stopping by. We got Tim. I don't know if you heard. He's from Sydney, stopping by. So we got someone from Australia here. So,
all right.
Colonial worldwide here.
The Asian
nice.
question: is it potato or potato?
Well, in Australia.
Potato. Sorry, that's a bad accent.
It was like, is it potato? Or is it potato?
Yeah. Probably still.
I don't know. That's a good question. It's like comment down below. How do you say it? It's like say it capital if it's potato, if it's potato lowercase. That way we know how you say it.
Well, the person from Australia is gone, so we'll never know.
I'm sure it'll come back.
Yeah.
So I see that that Cody is in a show this weekend. Cody from Stalking.
Yes.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I guess
completely different. Yeah.
I guess it's at the theater at the school where we've shot many films.
Oh, my bad. I said that wrong. She's not from Sydney. Her name is Sydney Lee. My bad.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Hi.
I think this is okay.
Hi,
I think I know who this is. I was talking to her earlier about stopping by the show. Okay, I know who this is now. All right.
Great.
So I got a new person to come to the show to check it out. All right. Cool.
Hi, Sydney.
Hello.
So Cody's in Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Cody has he actually went to college for musical theater. So and he's got a great voice. He's got a great theater voice.
I can tell. I can tell. Yeah, he's very gifted.
He probably did very well. And it's a big theater it's a big stage, as you know, Tim. Very strong. So
yes.
So it was a big production. But it sounds like it went well. I didn't go. But it sounds like
not yet.
Mary Poppins is awesome.
Yeah.
Just haven't seen the new one. Haven't seen that new one yet.
Yeah. I haven't either.
Oh, I actually haven't seen it yet either. I don't know.
I actually forgot about it until she said Mary Poppins. Then in the
wait, it was in Guardians of the Galaxy too. Yo, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
That's right. Yeah, it does pop up a lot, that show. But still, so that I saw that and it was interesting to hear. Because I know, obviously that theater has been in many of Mark's films, so that's sort of my tie-in to some of that. It's just another.
know the bowels of that theater.
Because
Mark was shooting every little corner in the back of the theater, and I think Mark likes shooting. He decided he liked shooting on the stage because when he gets a tight shot, it's he can get the lighting just the way he likes it. And because what was that one that we shot there on the stage?
Yeah,
with,
that's a film. I won't mention too much, but we'll vaguely discuss it. That film will be probably out later this year if we're lucky. And yes, that was definitely utilizing that space. Terrifically. Mark was stupendous with that. He was
Yes.
electrified for that one. I don't know what got into his system,
Yeah,
but
but no, he really liked his work, and he was very
Mhm.
impressed with himself.
I
shooting that.
know. Yeah. So basically, people out there, Mark Polonia took the Mansfield University stage that's been used in a few of our films and many other films, and basically used it almost as a sound stage for a recent project. And that film should be out soon enough, and it'll be another big hit. And it was a pleasure with everybody as usual to be involved. But also, it was utilized well in RoboWar, which has definitely been out for a bit. That film RoboWar that's on Tubi and a few others.
Another one on Tubi.
Yeah. Yep,
I like
that's
it.
Everything's on Tubi.
Right, Tubi, that's the go-to. But RoboWar has been on other things too, Prime and Plex, I think. But that stage was used in that film too a bit. And Sister Krampus, the wings, of course, and the scenes where was it you, Yolie, with throwing holy water and stuff at
Yeah,
was it Marie?
yeah,
I'm guessing Marie's character at the time,
yeah.
or it was either her or Rebecca.
You end
It
up
was
feeding
Sister
her
Krampus.
you end up feeding her the holy water.
Yeah. Sorry, she had to go. Yeah.
Yeah. The hell,
But
back
yeah,
to hell, demon.
Yeah. So yeah, that stage works well for him. So and now Cody's on stage actually performing in an actual theatrical production on that
Yes.
same stage. Yes.
Right now,
Yes.
probably.
Nice.
Yep.
Yes.
In fact, right now, he's on that stage right now.
Probably
Mhm.
as we speak. Yeah, I was going to ask you, Yolie. I guess you had known him, and that's how he got involved in the stalking. I guess you do theater there too, as well, or
Yes, that's right. That's how I first got to know Cody.
Okay.
Through the theater. Yeah, through the theater. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I remember. Yeah.
Okay. How often do you do any plays? Do you have anything that you're working on now, or going to do some plays later, or?
Yeah, Hamilton Gibson, the community theater here in Wellsboro. I'm involved in the women's project for the Hamilton Gibson Theater. So I'm producing a Christmas show now, along with co-producing a Christmas show now. Yeah, and what we like to do is
Nice.
invite people to write things for the plays for short play or well for this particular Christmas show we're inviting people to write Christmas letters, which could be like sarcastic. They could be parodies of the actual Christmas letters that you get from that relative that has to brag about everything that they do throughout the year. Does everybody get those Christmas? I have Christmas letters from them. Maybe you guys haven't, but anyway, there's some people who will list their whole what they've done throughout the year, and so we thought that would be a good subject for people to write. So we're going to have a workshop, and people are invited to write a Christmas letter, and then we're going to put on some couple of 10-minute plays, sing some songs, and it'll be fun. So that's what I'm working on now in July.
Wow.
Christmas in July.
Christmas in July.
There's one
That's what I'm
Christmas
doing right
story.
now.
There's one Christmas story I've always wondered if they turn into like a play or something. Is that one from either World War I or World War II, where they stopped fighting and they were hearing each other sing?
Oh.
And like when one side was singing, the other side, even though they were different language, they were able to recognize, so they started singing back.
Yeah.
And then they got out of the trenches and were like helping, singing, and they were like, okay, hey, by the way, we're not going to fight. You need to collect your dead. Go collect your dead.
That sounds familiar. I've heard of that.
It's a true story, and it's really cool because like literally for a period of time, but I can't remember if it was World War I or World War II. And it's like really cool that they, even though they spoke different languages, because the song's essentially the same, you can tell by the sound, and so it's a really cool story. If you have a chance to look it up, and it was in some places it was a truth that lasted from Christmas to New Year's, and it's actually a pretty cool story.
Yeah, yeah. I think I've heard that. It kind of reminds me of that movie War Horse, where, well, no, but War Horse, in that movie War Horse,
Yeah.
I think the two sides came together for the sake of the horse, wasn't it?
Hmm.
In War Horse,
Something
I
like
think, because
that.
he was
Yeah,
trapped
I
in a
think so.
barbed wire or something. Oh, I don't know, but it was, yeah. But that's always, yeah. That makes me cry. War stories like that.
Hmm.
That's good. So, did you grow up in Pennsylvania, or did you move there, Yolie?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, I did not grow up in Pennsylvania. No, I moved here. My husband and I moved here to raise our kids 30 years ago. We moved to here in Wellsboro and raised our kids here. And yeah, it's a great little town. Love it. I still love
I
it.
think I've heard that name before. I'm trying to remember where. I know some used to know some people who were out there, and they might have mentioned it. But so I'm
Wellsboro.
trying. Yeah, I'm trying because when my dad was in the Navy, we knew some people who were from there, and so they might have mentioned it before or talked about the Willsboro, or put it somewhere else, maybe in a movie or a video game when they talk about there. I might have
Huh.
heard it. I just can't remember where.
Oh, what a coincidence! My father was in the Navy too. Yeah, I grew up.
Pro-
I
pro-
was a Navy. Were you a Navy brat? Echo, were you a Navy brat?
Yep,
Yeah,
my
me
dad
too.
was. He served on the Coral Sea, the Ranger, as we called it, the Danger Ranger,
Hmm.
and the Monongahela, which was an oiler who had one of her sister ships. We used to crack jokes about because she would leave port and she would die, and they'd have to bring her
Oh,
back. And it happens, it happened enough times that it became a running joke. Well, she's leaving port. Break up the
Yeah.
stopwatches. Let's see how long she lasts this time.
oh dear.
They had they cut
Pull
the
her back.
Monongahela. They cut the Monongahela in half.
Hmm.
Took it down to New Orleans to add sector to her.
Hmm.
So you got the navigator, right? You want the navigator. You got to trust him, right?
Hmm.
To go from New Orleans back to Virginia, it's like go to the Gulf of Mexico, go around Florida. Do not go up the Mississippi, and be halfway up it before you go. Oops. I would never ask that navigator for directions. Not even I wouldn't have to ask if I met that navigator. It wouldn't be where's the bathroom. Wouldn't ask him for
Oh
that.
boy.
God knows where you would end up at.
Oh, that's bad.
So we got a
Yeah.
question for you, Yolie. Have you driven the famed Kia? Which actually we were just talking about that not too long ago, but
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
yeah.
I have
Yeah.
in a movie. I'm trying to think which one would that
Yeah.
have been. You know what? Like I said, it's been so many. I can't.
I know.
It was actually in Shark's Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think that might have been
Okay.
it.
Is that
It
the
might
one
have been that.
where it's electrified? You know, the one that Mark keeps reminding about. I bet that's the one. I bet
It
that's
could
the
be.
big
I
one.
think so. I
Oh, is
think
that
that
what
is.
talking about it being electrified or something? I didn't get that joke. I figured it
Yeah,
was something from
he
another
did.
Yeah.
No, he will never let me live that one down. He brings it up every time, numerous times at every.
Well, I got something new. I got something new to bring up. That's funny. On the stalking, since it's on Internet Movie Database, you do play my friend's character's mom in it. But when you were saying, "Hey, honey," and you thought she was coming in, and she was already in the bedroom. You said the line before, and she was coming from the opposite direction. We're all like, "Yeah, she is home." That was funny. It's like that's got to be one for the bloopers. Oh my gosh, shit. It was so much fun. There was so many funny bloopers. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to keep track for continuity. Like one of the girls in who. Oh, Rebecca. Like Rebecca said when we did Sister Krampus, you got to keep track of the shot of the scenes because for continuity. And
Right.
I mean, you get shooting these separate scenes, and it's hard to keep track of where you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
You don't end
Mark's
up
pretty good at it.
You don't end up on IMDb with the what they call the arrows. We have to list all the errors in the movie. You don't end up on that list. Well, in this
Yeah.
scene,
Right.
her scarf was to the left, but now it's to the right, and then back to the left.
Yeah.
We need
Stephen, when you were in town, you had a pretty good, for the most part, and I think Rebecca also, when she made the trip, had a nice little tour of most of the Polonia backgrounds or atmospheres for the most part. I mean, you got to see a lot of Ken's property, a lot of Mark's property. You definitely got to Mansfield, downtown a little bit, right? Oh yeah, by the park. It was the first time we even shot in a park more exclusively. Yeah, you had the tour, man.
Yeah, he was showing me also where Church of the Damned was filmed and some other stuff as we were driving.
Oh, right.
As we were driving from the bus stop. So, yeah, that was cool. He was like, yep, you recognize some of this area? And I was like, yep. It's like, what better way to get the tour than from Polonia himself, you know? You can't beat that. In the Kia. So, yes, I got
in the Kia, too.
He'll have to start charging for that. I was the demo of how his future business is. Besides directing, he's going to start giving tours. Yeah, it was funny when I was watching. I rewatched House Squatch, and I was like, "Yep, I was there. That's Mark. Yep, there. We filmed there. Yep." That was fun to pick out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, got another question there popping up.
Okay.
What was it like working with me? Yeah.
You go ahead, Yolie.
I think probably, anybody who works on a set is going to gain experience from doing it. Yeah, I'm sure he has gained experience, and plus he got the tour. He got the grand tour.
Exactly.
all the Mark Polonia sets. So yeah.
So yes, all the movies.
Well,
you shall have them all.
I'm sure he'll let you know when.
They'll end up all on
I'm
TV,
sure he'll
like
let you know when
else.
this one comes out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's coming along pretty quick, as usual. I'm going to answer quick, and then I won't interrupt as much anymore. But it says, "What's it like working with Steven?" Yeah, it was a pleasure. It was great to see Steven for the first time in person. He did a great job, fit in well with everybody. It was inspiring for a lot of these bigger Polonia Pals Avenger sets are always an adventure and exciting because it's awesome. Any film or to a lot of the more tighter ensemble pieces are always a tremendous privilege and experience, but the ones where this past one with the stalking, I get a thrill. I get a kick out of it. It gives me a little bit of a second wind, a little bit. Not that I need much of that, because just being alive is a second wind every day. I mean, really, for most people. But to have some new faces and some new people excited, and again to hear about what people like about some of the projects, it keeps you going, and if it makes you feel like you're a part of some fun things, and it's exciting. It's definitely exciting, and you guys all did a terrific job. It was a pretty a good shoot, but it had some twists and turns that I think everybody can learn from and grow from. And for the most part, I think everybody's still very high from that shoot. I mean, that's a very good thing. I mean, there's projects that are out there in the world where, you don't get thrilled from it. But for the most part, everybody had a good attitude, good atmosphere, was prepared. Steven, I think I think you have the right energy. So,
thank you. It was a good time, and looking forward to being more.
I know I'm looking forward to seeing the stalking, not just because Steven's in it, but the whole kill of plant thing. Because it's been a long time.
You don't have to lie. You can say it's because of me. It's all
no, man. It's been a long time since I've seen any movie with kill of plants in it. To the point, I can't recall the last time I recall anything with an evil plant seen it is Evil Dead, which. For all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. The tree branch.
Yeah.
In fact, Mike, the most rare movie I have in my collection is a Polonia movie. It's Death Rail, which they only did like 50 VHS, 100 on DVD, and 250 on Blu-ray.
Okay. Do you know that one, Tim?
It's basically, I guess it was some of the stuff him and his brother filmed back in the 80s, and they were put together in a movie. So I ordered the DVD and Amazon. Well, I paid for the DVD, but Amazon kind of made it goofy and sent me the Blu-ray. I'm not going to complain, but it's like, hey,
okay, that's a good deal.
I'm thinking, oh, well, why
yeah, there's probably some nice extras on it.
Yeah, but it's like 200, 250, copies of it apparently were done unless they changed it. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know if she's going to be going to bed yet or not, or if she's still on. But she was saying, "How many movies have I been in? Never Back Down. Just a few seconds. You see me. I was just an extra in that. Still a cool experience. Easiest $500 I've ever made. Just to be on set for 3 days. And then Amityville Turkey Day will come out in November. I have a small little part in that that's going to be edited in, and then The Stalking." Is my third one, and then I'll be working on another movie in January. So,
hey, did IMDb ever fix whatever its problems was with you, Steven? Or they?
Yeah, I got my picture back up, and I don't know what happened, but I couldn't sign on.
I'm looking at the cast listing for The Stalking, and all of a sudden I see.
No pictures. Yeah, they got okay. I couldn't sign on to it. It wouldn't let me go through the Apple. I had to call Amazon and create another Amazon account and get it fixed and go back on and sign on under that. And it took me literally almost a couple hours to deal with Amazon. They were pissing me off too. I was like, okay, I just want to get this done and everything. Yeah. So, but it's all set. I got my picture back up. Everything. Let's see, being Amityville delivery film. It wasn't in Amityville. We were talking about because we did DoorDash and who was it? Aaron, right? From The Girl in the Crawl Space. Aaron.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We were talking about doing that and like, yeah, we should just do that and film it and. Yeah, we never did get into that, but we could probably do a short or probably do something or figure something out. That would be funny to do. And hey, we should just call it Amityville DoorDash. I mean, heck, throw Amityville in front of everything. Just
I mean, they've done everything. They've done what? Toilets.
Death toilet.
I mean, they're gonna start. Every time you think they're at the last of the barrel, like they're just gonna be scraping. Something else comes up. It's like, oh god. I watched that. I watched that.
Be more to come. I keep seeing more, and some look pretty good lately. I was like, wow.
Have you seen Amityville Christmas Vacation?
Yeah.
Oh, that movie cracked me up. Except when
it was cute.
Except he proved when I watched that movie, I found out how much of a geek I am. When he does that whole, things like this, all of a sudden I scream, Dragon Ball Z. Oh god.
Stalking is killer plants. So come on, how can you not be interested in killer plants?
It's a good movie. It's an ensemble piece. There's a lot of good young people in it, and Halloween setting, and
there's more to it too, but we can't say. But there is a bit more to it.
4 more months.
Do the plants sing? Do the plants sing like the most famous killer plant? Do they sing like the most famous killer plant?
No spoilers.
How about that, Audrey?
Yes.
Yep.
I have to say, Tim, this is the most I've ever seen you talk in all the times that we've worked together. Because we're usually just sitting there waiting for it to shoot our scene, and you sit there, and you're very patient. But so this is great. I'm glad to be here because I finally get to have a conversation with Tim.
So, okay. Wow. I get.
Like, really?
I'm trying to behave tonight a little bit too. I don't want to. I don't want to step on your toes.
Is that a return that they?
But I wanted you to again have the usual Polonia Steven experience, which would include me in the process often. So I didn't want you to feel different or left out or excluded a bit. But yeah, no, on the projects, the projects, they're always a blessing and a great time and a tremendous thing. But, I'm a big goof and I have a lot of I have a lot of fun and goof off a lot on the sets, which it is what it is. But, at the same time, I'm trying to stay focused and polite and professional. There's a lot going on, and we try to do a lot in a short amount of time. And we know how effortless and precise Mark is, but you want to stay on his, you stay on your toes and get it done. And
It's like, yeah,
but
I can
always
tell.
a
Have fun, but get it
wonderful
done.
time for the most part. But I try to behave myself as much as I can. There's a lot of stuff going on, people coming and going.
Oh, that's
and,
why. Okay.
Well, no, I mean it can be. There is definitely a lot of. I don't want to, get too far into too many things. I like to keep everybody, on in the loop and not be too distracting, I guess. But yeah, next time I see you, I'll definitely talk to
See,
you.
there you go. That's right. You don't have to behave yourself, Tim.
Okay,
All
right. Yeah, as long as we're way off set, so we don't cause any
make any
noise
disruption
on set.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yolie, question for you. How long have you been acting, and what kind of drew you to it?
Well, it started with the theater, the Hamilton Gibson, the community theater. When my daughter was in high school, Thomas put on a production of Romeo and Juliet, and my daughter was Juliet, so I played the nurse.
Goodness.
Yeah, and that was great. We did it at Stedman at the university, not in Strom, but we did it in Stedman Theater.
Oh, okay.
And,
okay.
Yeah. So,
Is
which is
that
a big. Yeah.
Is that the one that is in Empire of the Apes? Or no?
Oh wait, I know I think Mark has shot in Stedman before. I think he has. Yeah. They're on campus. So yeah, that was my first. So Shakespeare was my first introduction, and since then, I mean, I branched off. Started Mark. I don't even know how Mark got my name.
Yeah, that's the next question. How did that?
I was going to say, how did you get
no idea.
Really? Through Titus, maybe? Was it maybe
idea.
Titus?
No, because I think it started before Titus. It was
before I figured something like that. Steve Diaspera? Stephen Diaspera? No? I don't know then. Those are two that I would think that you...
I don't know. But I haven't turned... I haven't looked back since. So,
no, I know.
So,
and it ain't stopping anytime soon, so... Don't hold your breath because
it's fun. It's a lot.
Once
of fun.
you're in, you're never gonna end.
No.
And you're also part of the Amityville family by doing an Amityville movie. And there's only like about 3,000, 4,000 Amityville movies.
Yeah, but the thing is though, is Mark and a few others that we know, he's high on many of those lists for his projects. So. It's been a very, very good loop. So, anyways, it says thoughts on working on Amityville Island. What do we think? That was a crazy fun shoot for me. I got attacked by a bear, and it ain't the first time. So, and it probably won't be the last time. From when I, wink, wink. so.
Just do it Leslie Nielsen style from Day of the Animal. You ever seen that movie? Day of the Animals with Leslie Nielsen. There's something wrong with the ozone.
Who he is, but I don't know if I saw it.
It's like something's wrong with the ozone making all these animals.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And of course, the guy from Naked Gun's got to be all violent, takes his shirt off, is like going to fight a bear, and it's like, oh, I know this is not
good. To check that out. I'm surprised I haven't seen it.
Yeah, he's a complete, like, if you're used to the funny man, Leslie Nielsen, he's not that. He's like a straight up asshole.
Okay.
But the scene when he rips the shirt off and like he's gonna fight a bear, it's like, oh, yeah, this ain't gonna end good. This ain't gonna end good.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, how about Amityville Island? Amityville Island has had a good run of it. It had Danielle in it, and Jamie, and James Corollas, and Jeff, and a bunch of us. And that's been high on a lot of lists. And it's kind of a different kind of form of all that, but it definitely has. And the poster, it kind of looks like it's a cross of a bunch of different things, but it certainly has had its go.
How about you, Yolie? How was it working on Amityville there?
I'm trying to think of which one. I can't keep track. So, but which is the one where the shark ended up walking on land and was like out in the woods? And because I remember
that's Sharkenstein.
Okay, that's
Sharkenstein.
Okay,
Yep.
I don't know if I was in
You take a look.
I don't think I was in that
I
one.
thought maybe you were briefly. Let me see. I thought you maybe were in it too.
Yeah, she played.
I don't remember.
Well, it was basically they go to a Jeff runs like an island, this like laboratory island thing, which is nothing new for him. Danielle and Jamie are like prison. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Danielle and Jamie are prisoners. Mm-hmm. And I think isn't in the beginning like you have you own the house has the garage sale that's with the possessed stuff or something. I thought maybe
that was at the beginning of that. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
You sold like she was buying stuff for her kids or something. It was almost like a flashback scene or something before she went to prison.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hob said you're on the back cover. You're on the back cover of that one.
Yeah. Yeah, Jamie.
I'll have to look through my wild eye. I have it somewhere in my 300 wild eye.
From the yard sale. Before she got imprisoned.
All right. I got to get on that Tubi. I got to start catching up on all of these.
Oh, there's so much on Tubi. Every time I go there and just go to the main page, there's always something new added. It's like, oh, I got to see this.
And this and this and that. So what's the craziest thing you have seen on set?
Oh. On any, you mean like on any Mark Polonius set?
Probably any set, I'm assuming.
Any set? Oh, okay. I think one of my favorites was when Mark cut my head off, and so he put me so I was like crouched down, and there was a board right on my neck, so that it looked, and then he put blood all around it, so that it looked like my head was sitting on a table. So that was probably the craziest thing I ever did on a set for Mark. There's a lot of other ones that were pretty. There's been a lot. That was pretty cool. Yeah, always a lot of blood. He's got like in gallon jugs of blood. Always. Yeah.
I'd have to say it didn't happen to me, but we already mentioned it during the stalking show. But since you're new on this one, during the stalking, Kyle, the bird crapped on his mask in the middle of the scene just before it started.
It was good luck.
It was a good luck.
There you go. Elements, good luck.
He didn't even realize it. It was like I think somebody pointed it out when they turned into the camera.
It was a gift. He was nice enough to put it on the mask and not his head. I mean.
It would have to happen to Kyle. I'm sure he was not happy.
What about you, Tim? You've probably seen
Wow.
I don't know. It's I don't know. In more recenter times, the movies have been pretty good. I mean, without calling people out with behind the scenes silly stuff once in a while, which is part of this business. But as far as anything crazy, let me think. I don't know. Fighting a monster, fighting Sharkenstein in Jurassic Shark 3, I think is the craziest thing. Because I know that's now starting to get out there more so too. So to be able to take on that mega beast, I mean, I think that's I got my work cut out for me or something. Like Moby Dick times a zillion or something. But but no, everything's there's just a lot of Mark's films are primarily Mark's films are very contained, or it's a lot of the usual regulars, and unless something unfortunate is going on, like somebody got the bug or something last minute. I mean, there's nothing really too outrageous. But we have a lot of silly good time, as you all know. So, but craziest stuff, I don't know. Again, without really getting into behind the scenes kind of stuff in the general sense, the last batch of films, it's been just a good old hard work and a good time, and getting to see things come out has been quite a thrill.
It's all pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
In
I
a
guess
good
that's
way,
the craziest part. Making movies in the way that we do, and to have them come out and get out there, that's been the craziest thing. And that's not been on the set, that's been being a part of the set. So that is it. That's my statement, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
No food fights, though. I was tempted to throw a Pop-Tart at Kyle.
Hey man, don't waste a good Pop-Tart.
Well, no, it had already broke apart. It had already broke apart. There was a little piece that had fallen off accidentally. So
only waste a Pop-Tart is if it's that really bad tasting Eggo Pop-Tart, which does not taste like a Eggo. Well, here's a question for you guys as actors. We see what's going on in Hollywood right now with the strikes. What are your guys' take on all these strikes going on in Hollywood right now?
I think it's great for Mark. and the whole indie film industry. Yeah, I mean, as long as I don't have to cross a picket line, then it gives room for the little guys gives them more exposure, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we kind of had sort of some of that during the COVID times, and it's been kind of lingering off and on anyways. And we are in a state of flux with a ton of things that I don't want to get into, but I mean, the world is often a change, but with the film stuff and the arts and whatnot, I mean, it just again, it just puts things in perspective. I mean, it is what it is. They got to do what they got to do. I get it. It's not the first time. It's happened many times before. But yeah, it's offering, time for others to get into the picture but it just makes, again, all of us look, we're all doing these at different capacities and different levels and different things. And again, as an artist or a creator, because all of us here are that, and no matter what we're doing, it showcases that, like the old time saying that in another way, that the show must go on. So, you just keep adapting, you keep trying new things, you keep trying different outlets. You go and do theater, or you go and you write a song. I mean, so you just keep all these little bumps in the road or twists and turns. They all make us, more expansive, and it gives us things to think about, and hopefully that gets better for some of them people out there. But the game is the whole game is a big game. I mean, it doesn't just stop with them getting a better. I mean, the system in the world is all over the place, and so it's just another piece of many puzzles. But hopefully they can get to some happy endings and people can get back to some works, but yeah, we'll definitely be able to crank some things out and get our stuff out there, and maybe they'll pay, we'll have more outlets and more options and twists and turns for all of us too. So, but
one person on Twitter was joking. The last time we had the Guild, the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild on strike at the same time, the president of the Actors Guild was Reagan.
Okay.
He became president.
Yeah.
And they're like, Fran Dresser is, of all people, with her voice, is the president of the Actors Guild. So, like, the joke was, is she next? Which, God, with that voice, please no.
Yeah, well, go Union.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
How hard is it to wash all that blood off? And then she said, "Bird poop is good."
Yeah. Well, the blood thing just depends on who and what it is and whatever. I'm sure Stephen, as you saw, Anthony had a tremendous amount of blood on his hands. So it does take a few days for some of that to come off if you're really with the wrong type and really ingrained in it. But some of it comes off like nothing, and some of it'll be there for a few weeks.
Different types of batches they make.
Yeah, different.
I remember
brands.
in my teens I would experiment with it, and good thing I had my own private shower in my bedroom, because God, that thing turned blood red for me. All the tough batches I would make, and I have to clean it off. And if I had to use my parents' bathroom, I would have got in so much trouble. It should have been like red. It's like you're taking that bleach and scrub.
Yep. Let's see. There's also a question: is it true Little Caesars is the official pizza? No, it wasn't Little Caesars. What was that pizza place that Mark had picked up? It was really good pizza that we had, though. But I can't remember where it was from. It was like from some pizza place, though. It wasn't Little Caesars. I know that.
No, I don't think so. There's a bunch of them down there, of course, as you know.
Yeah.
I don't recall, but yeah, it did the trick. And there's a lot of nice stuff in Wellsboro. It's a nice town. A lot of good things there. Yeah. Back real quick before I go back on to Wellsboro, but somebody was mentioning Amityville in space. The thing about Amityville in space, again, just in general, is Yolie 2, in a lot of the hype and a lot of the press and trailers and things that had gotten out with that film, which the film has done tremendous. Yolie has the whole thing with the it's almost like Wizard of Oz with the house going to space. I mean, that's just a beautiful shtick in its own right. And no, but I mean, your voice and your presence is often emphasized in a lot of the glips and blimps and glips and little moments that have been on the adventure tour of Amityville. Like the trailer, your voice and your stuff is very much present in that. And that film again is, in my mind, an ensemble piece, truly. And and I'm proud of of course my stuff, but when I watch, I've seen clips and I've seen different spurts out there, and I'm like, oh, there's Ryan, or there's Titus, or there's Cassandra, or and everybody else, and everybody in that, just like many of Mark's films, we have all had our moments, and so when you put on that trailer, I mean, there's several lines that you deliver that stand out. I mean, it's because to me, when I think of the film, even just, it's a fun film, and it was done. Mark, again, put a tremendous amount of effort into that film from top to bottom, and among everybody else too. But it's certainly, no question, Mark is, it's his undertaking. And but it's just, again, when you see Jeff and his Bennett thing, and then all these, Ryan doing his thing, and Titus had his moments, and et cetera, Natalie, and the list goes on. But it's just, again, like whenever there's many times that I've seen the film highlighted in public, and I'm like, oh, there's Yolie, and it's really cool to kind of to know that and see that, and to be somewhat a part of all that. But again, back to Wellsboro too, we were gibbering and jabbering on that. Wellsboro definitely has a scene, and has its charm, and it's had its test on its own terms of many things besides being a setting for a lot of Mark's films.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
So Yolie, you've done some different ones, like a sci-fi, slasher, supernatural. Do you have a favorite out of those?
Well, for the sci-fi, I'd have to say Outpost Earth was great. Outpost Earth was a great script. The whole idea was great, and and we shot most of it in a dank old basement. You
That's
never know
gotta-
it. Because,
Yeah.
yeah, you never know it because it was because they fixed it up to look like a bunker in a post-apocalyptic world where we had to hide from the aliens that had invaded. I'd have to say for sci-fi that one was my favorite. I enjoyed that. That one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I've seen it a few
That was
times. And
yeah.
you guys did a
yeah,
great job.
That's a good one. Yeah.
let's see. What was it like when you first started acting?
Who's that for?
I guess everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, okay.
Tim, yeah.
Well, I'm always giving you it's your show primarily, but let's see. What was it like when I first started acting? Well, I mean, I'm still acting to this moment. It's been a journey. I've had a lot of good times embarking upon it throughout my whole life, following this dream or nightmare or what do they call it when you're bit by this bug or whatever. It's led me down a lot of different paths, and it changed my life in so many times in so many different ways. Anything that you're reaching for or something that it's going to be a challenge and a ride and a lot of hard work. But if you really are passionate about something, and it's something I would say positive. I mean, I guess don't ever give it a second. Do it in the right way, but definitely follow your heart. I mean, anything is possible. I've seen a lot of twists and turns, and I'm constantly amazed. A lot of times, mostly for the good, thank goodness. But first starting out, I was real young. I didn't really know much of what I was doing. I had no idea. I still kind of really have no idea regarding any of it sometimes, to be honest with you, and not to make me sound like a nitwit, but I've put in the time, but it certainly has been, it's been a lot of hard work, but the hard work does eventually pay off. And so, you just got to keep trying and working for it, and see what happens. That's that for me.
All right. How about you, Yolie?
For me, it has always just been a hobby. Because I'm elderly, so it's just always been a hobby for me. It's a creative outlet. The community theater is a creative outlet for me. I get a kick out of Mark Polonia. That's why I do the films. But I was never. I didn't start out young, so I never looked at it as anything else other than a hobby. So I have tremendous regard for young people who are trying to make a life at it. Good luck to you. It's I'm sure it's not easy. So good luck to you. Yeah.
Yeah. As for me, I always did stuff in school, and then school plays. I was in ITS in high school, community theater. That's pretty much what I did until then. Then I was an extra, never back down, and now to this, and I'm starting to get a couple more projects out. So finally, starting to do some bigger stuff. So, and I hope to just continue doing that. So, and then
Mark has that thing. Mark has given a lot of wind to a lot of people.
I know that with
I don't know about second wind or third winds, but Mark has taken a lot of people upon him, up under him, and lifted them up pretty quickly. So
I know with this now being like the third time I've talked to you guys, I'm starting to check out more of his films.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did
it never ends.
Not only did I pick up Death Rail, I picked up Motorboat and Fetus 3.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to see more of his stuff. kind of would like to see more. It's kind of interesting.
There's only 98 of them. That's all.
I thought
that's
it was
just his
99.
directing. I mean,
Well, the stocking's
he's
99.
done more.
So.
He's done way more, even though he claims that. But he's done a lot. He's done way more. But Feeders 3 is terrific.
Yeah,
Feeders 3 is a great film.
I like how they sort of relate to the first one too, and everything in it, and the whole movies. So.
Yeah, it's a great. Those movies are hilarious. I thought Greta was really good. Greta Vakava was very good in Feeders 3. So wasn't Mike Karodish, Jeff too, and many others. Everybody, most of the usuals. But it was a standout film.
Yep. So one last question from Cindy there. What was your favorite project you've been a part of? I'm sure that's hard. There's so many. They each have their own special
one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, mine would have to be the stocking.
Oh, Steven. You're take the easy one.
Yeah, easy for me.
I have to say, the last summer when we went out on the boat on the lake,
Jurassic Shark 3.
Oh man, that was like a vacation day. It was so great. I love it. Yeah, I love that.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, that's great. Jurassic Shark 3 was a hoot. That was great. I'm glad that the film is now on Prime and Vudu.
I actually just got it on Vudu yesterday. I was like,
oh, great. Yeah, I'm very
proud
of that one. Very proud of that film. Very excited. I'm glad it's really getting out there. This is the time. It's summer blockbuster, and that's the film for it. And I again, Mark, just tremendous. I love your guys' wit in that film. I mean, Mark is hilarious in that movie.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
I love his lines in that. You guys are really cute. It was really good. Really good. A really good time.
It was fun.
I still don't even know how we do it sometimes. I some of these I'm like, I can't believe it. I'm like, I mean, I've watched and I'm like, really? Like, was I there? I'm like, I don't even know if the fun got. It was tremendous, but I just most of the time it's just I don't know where my head is, but that one was great. Trying to think what else that we've done in recently that was a good time. I think Camp Murder, which was a couple of summers ago, was a good time for the most part. I mean, it was very vast and tricky times and a few other things, but I know a bunch of us were definitely in that, and I thought that came out well and enough, and that was a fun time for the most part. I don't know if it was the best of times because of COVID.
The best of times, it was the worst of times.
But it wasn't bad. That was, in spite of that, it wasn't too bad. And the film has done tremendous. So,
how did COVID affect doing independent movies? In terms of because we saw a lot of productions being shut down and stuff. But how did that affect independent movies with COVID?
With COVID? Yeah. Well, the crazy thing about COVID, we're all still scratching our head over that. I mean, that's, obviously was a very scary time for a lot of people and unfortunate for all of us. But as far as projects and stuff go, it was something you had to work around and get used to, but I think a lot of people flourished during some of that. It's like a lot of things, like throughout all these, again, back, it's like just talking about the strike stuff. I mean, we, as people used to say, we're Americans, but I don't want to get into all that either. But like, you would say that like you're given these obstacles and then you just kind of go with it. And I've seen a lot of people do tremendous things in the last few years. I mean, it's some of it's taken a little longer maybe, but maybe not. But I've seen, I mean, other than it being unfortunate, and it was a very crappy thing for all of us to go through, I saw a lot of great artwork during the time. So that's all my take on it. But it definitely was something to think about and to work around. And if the first year was definitely difficult, but it's made us all more resilient, and we've learned from things and thought about things, and makes you, what doesn't, destroy you makes you stronger. And, but a lot of great work has been done too, in spite of it.
And I know in Pearl they kind of wrote it into it. You see a lot of characters, they have the mask, but they're saying, it's the Spanish flu or something is how they explain everyone having the mask on. Which I thought was pretty cool to do that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you work with it. Yeah, and it ain't the first time we've seen all these things. It won't be the last.
Although I think they said that we might have had it coming because someone decided to do a prophecy. In 1923 we had something, and look at every century where there's a number 23, something bad happens. And then it's like, oh God, well, they ain't looking right.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
I was going to say, Yolie, since we sort of mentioned Jurassic Shark 3, that was Jada Sanchez's first movie, and she's also in The Stalking as well. But
with Mark primarily. She's done a few other things. She's done other work too, but I would say her introduction to the Colonial.
The first one with Mark, I meant. But you were her manager, and then now her mom. So how is it going to? So I guess we could say you're her momager.
Yeah. So I know Jada now, and her mom as well. Yeah. So she's lovely. She's a lovely young lady, and it's a pleasure to work with her. Yeah, and I hope she keeps working. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I was watching House Squatch. There's this character. She's a woman. She's wearing a mask. She's got a little bit of a beard. Was that you, Tim?
Yeah.
Because like at one point you're like, "Hey, you're good looking or something" to them. Like
the bearded lady.
That mask the whole time.
Yeah. That was me. That was me.
I figure, especially when you saw the same.
We had different takes on that whole thing, how we wanted to go about that. But it was.
What
it was
gave it away was when you turned around in the car. And you're like, "Hey, you're good looking or something." It's like, "Oh, that's gotta be Tim."
Yes, that's it. I know. I could have probably, if I didn't do that, then we probably maybe would have slid by on that one. But
no, that was funny though. I mean, that was more interesting, I think.
Yeah, we were trying to keep things interesting, and we did. It was fun. It was a good time. Yeah, I mean, Mark likes to keep things fun and original and twists and turns, and it's an art form, and whatever we put up there is what we put up there, and we just were like, you know what, we're gonna do this, and we did. So, and it was cute. It was cute.
Now, Yolie, you okay? If I remember right, in it because just having watched Sister Crumpus, you did an accent in it. How hard is it to have to do these accents? Do you have to study them, or can you just do them?
Yeah, you can't study them you can't try to study it too hard. If you think about it too much, then it doesn't work. It just gets awkward, and you start fumbling over your words. You just have to kind of just don't try to think about it too much. You just kind of gotta have to go with it. And if you don't try to analyze it too much. And in fact, that's what I was telling the young lady who played Sister Krampus. I told her the same thing because she was trying to get the accent too, and she was very worried about it. And I said, it's really too late at this point. Now that we're filming, you just gotta have to go with it. So yeah, just don't think about it too much. Just kind of like go with it.
Yeah. Danielle nailed it though. Yeah, she did a great job.
She did great. She did. Yep.
See if there was any other questions there. Let's see. That's funny. Dickens Halloween, though. They were having a little conversation in the chat.
I remember I had watched some guy, I forget who it was, had done a British accent from one of, because there's different types of British accent, and I guess he did it too good. And one of the people from that area of England was like, told him, "Don't you ever do that again." He was so dead on it offended the guy. He was like, "Don't you ever."
Well, what's funny is people have said in the Kevin Costner Robin Hood, like you could tell his accent was going in and out like throughout the movie. Like people who like pay like close attention to that and stuff and have to make comments on that.
That's what also led probably to that line from Robin Hood Men in Tights. Like, oh, and
I can speak, unlike some Robin Hoods, I speak with a British accent.
An authentic British accent.
An authentic
British accent. And he looks right into the camera when he does that.
I love when they break that third wall.
That's funny.
That reminds me of Mary Poppins, because in Mary Poppins in the movie, Dick Van Dyke had a horrible Cockney accent. It was, and I think it became famous. His role in that became famous because his accent was atrocious. So I wonder.
But he was terrific. He was a great guy in general.
He was Dick Van Dyke was. Yeah, I'm wondering the young man who did it.
Yeah, and he's still going too, which is amazing.
I know Dick Van Dyke's great.
He was on the Masked Singer last season. He was one of the contestants on there.
Oh no, he's great. He's great. I mean, please, the Dick Van Dyke Show is a classic, but terrible Cockney accent.
Well, Cockney is kind of confusing. In high school, we had a packet of all the different accents, and we were practicing it, and it tells what letters to drop and everything. And like they drop H's, so like instead of saying behind the couch, is beyond the couch. Like they drop certain letters, and you got to remember where they drop it. So, yeah.
They completely changed things around. Like the stairs is apples and pears. They call it stairs, apples and pears.
Oh,
yeah. It's very complicated. Yeah.
It's like
All right, ladies and gents, I'm going to hit the road. But if there's any last question or two before I bounce, but I'd like to give Yolie her time too. But I wanted to say hello and be a pest. But Yolie, it's always been a pleasure. It's an honor to have been in many films with you. I hope and look forward to many more. Thank you always for your wonderful energy and positivity. But once again, if there's any other questions before I hit the road, but I'll definitely bounce in a minute unless there's something that needs to be.
Any last Tim questions?
Yep. Or group questions.
Or group question. Yeah.
Yeah, but vice versa before I definitely hit the road.
What are you guys' thoughts on horror comedy? And like basically taking two categories of films overall and putting them together. How that works, sometimes it fails and sometimes it doesn't. How do you feel? Or whether it hits the bullseye or it doesn't?
It's a great genre. I mean, we see it many times with some of the Evil Dead movies and Living Deads and all those kinds of things. It gives us, it kind of puts light to some darkness. I mean, I think.
Do you mean Echo? Do you mean as in parody or?
They take two types of films. You got romantic comedies, horror comedies, sci-fi comedy, all sci-fi action. Someone decides to put them together. There's been some that have hit, and then some like when I watched Mobius when they tried to add comedy to Mobius, that Marvel movie, it just fell flat. Mm-hmm. He does the scene where he acts like he's supposed to be funny, where he acts like the sun's burning him, and he goes, "Oh no, it doesn't burn." It's like, is that supposed to be funny?
Yeah.
Sometimes it hits and misses.
Yeah, it just happens. I mean, it's a great subgenre and whatever, and sometimes it's terrific, and sometimes it just whatever. But it's hard to tell. Every film is different, and every project's different. So, but
like you said, Echo, it's hit. Yeah, sorry, it's hit and miss.
No,
it's hit and miss.
Yeah,
I think with Mark's films, Polonia films, they're kind of campy anyway. So that's where the humor is.
Yeah.
In his films, because they are
naturally campy.
And,
that helps make them very enjoyable.
Most of them. Yep.
Yeah, and that's funny. Yeah, I like it.
So, any thoughts on another Amityville in space? There should be at some point there will be some potential more adventures in that universe. I don't want to get into it just yet, but it is on the table.
You're so funny,
So
Tim. You're so funny. I don't want to get into it. You're very.
I don't want to get
you're
into
very-
it, but the idea of
What? No, but I don't give up two more. I mean, there is more to it, but yes, we will definitely go down that road again. I'm sure at least once or twice.
the idea of ambulance space
But yeah,
exploding
there's more to
around.
come for sure.
We only need about
All right.
3,000 more Amityville movies. You know, let's go. That is a
Well,
part
no,
of the
the movie is
sparrow.
deserving of something. So,
Yeah.
and it definitely earned its keep, and we're going to definitely carry on that tradition, among many other things.
I'm still waiting for Amityville.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Have a
Peace
good one,
out.
Tim.
I'll see you all soon. God bless and love you all. Take care. Thank you.
See you, Tim. Are we done yet?
Oh, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, it's been over an hour, but I mean, you're welcome to stay as long as you want. I mean, it doesn't matter. We go.
As long,
Hey, you had your arm.
as long as you want me to. I'm not going to run away. As long as you want me to, I'll stay. It's just that my air conditioning is in my bedroom, so
Oh, yeah, I had to because we just got a heat advisory here in my part of Washington State. I had to get a new AC because mine decided it's not going to blow out cold air. It's just gonna go. It's just gonna go cold air for like 5 minutes and then make a thud and then blow in warm air.
Yeah, so that's all right.
Did you have any favorite deaths in any of your movies, or a way that you would like to be killed in a future movie?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, how would I like to be killed in a future movie? Ooh, that's a good one. To be honest, I haven't really thought about any specifically. I leave that up to the writers. I trust that. Well, I know that Mark has written a lot of his movies. He has other people help him write them. Jeff has also written. He wrote Stalking. So I leave. That's the creative part. So I leave that up to them, and I just do whatever they want me to do. Basically,
Would you like to play the killer?
Would I like to play the killer? Oh,
instead
of course.
being the victim,
or a mother of the killer.
Yeah. Of course, every that's right. I've done that. I've played that before. Yeah, when my poor son. That's right. Yeah. When Noise killed my poor son, that was terrible.
It was almost like a Mrs. Voorhees type of thing, a little bit. It was like a Mrs. Voorhees.
Hey, the most famous, horror movie mother outside of Norman Bates' mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I am. I mean, hey, I am going to be typecast anyway, but so I haven't. But let's see. Yeah, it's always an actor always loves to play the bad person, the
bad one. They get all the best lines.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. I would love it.
Unless your name's Bruce Willis, the villain gets all the best lines.
That's right. The villain, is the most fun to play. Yep. So yeah.
That's what everyone says. That's pretty much a lot of times. That's who everyone remembers when they walk out. Right. The villain.
Yeah.
It is the most fun to play. So yeah, if Mark cast me as the villain, that'd be great. Yep.
Who knows? I'm sure there's tons of more stuff.
You can get back at that Sasquatch for taking your arm.
I will too.
House Squatch, the sequel, Revenge of the One-Armed Woman.
Mark likes to put a shotgun in my hand. He does that. He loves that. He loves that when I pull out a shotgun with a cigar in my mouth. Yeah, that's always good.
All right. What's your question, Hobbs? Go ahead. I guess he's got 2 more questions for you there.
All right.
Yes, no, maybe.
He's got to type it.
Yeah. All right, come on. We're on a schedule here.
All right. Hey, I can't type that fast either.
Well, I've seen people that can do that crazy stuff like oh, how can you do that?
Oh. Physical media, do you Is he
If you
talking to
collect-
me?
Yes.
Yeah, like, do you collect physical media? Because physical media these days is pretty much sadly is a dying thing.
Oh yeah, you mean like DVDs, vinyl,
Oh yeah.
CDs,
By the way,
that sort of
vinyls
thing?
vinyls is the coolest.
Of course.
I grew up on them, and then I hadn't played a record player for years, and then once I got a record player and I put a vinyl on it, that sound.
It is. You
Smile.
can't. Yeah. Even though digital is like a lot more dimensions to sound, you can't. Yeah, you can't beat vinyl. Yeah, for a lot of music, I agree. But yeah.
And then is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Also,
that sounds fun. I would
is.
consider that for my Christmas show that I'm producing this.
And technically, I don't know how many people realize this, but Lethal Weapon is also a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
See there, and I've been looking for Christmas themed scenes for 6 months now, but that's a good idea. I should look into Die Hard.
They're both in California. There's no snow. It's California back in the 80s, and I lived in California in the early 80s. I don't recall any snow. I mean, I was a little kid. I don't recall seeing snow until I went to Virginia.
And you go up in the hills, in the mountains, Yep. No. So I'll think about it. Potato
is the Great Pumpkin. Is there? But yeah,
Yes,
unexpected. I like the unexpected villains.
There should be. Ask Jeff. Jeff should write something about pumpkins next. I mean, he did sunflowers. Now he should do pumpkins next. Jeff.
Well, I think they've already done like that. What was it? There's a Wild Eye movie about pumpkins though already. So Jeff's would probably be better, but
Jeff's great. Jeff is great.
Yeah.
There's actually I read a great one about a girl who was bullied in school. They put acid on her head and deformed her. And she becomes a killer who wears a pumpkin. A big pumpkin has a mask to get back at bullies.
Sounds like Carrie.
Pretty much.
Just know
Killer Pumpkins. Yes. Killer Pumpkin Sydney.
Then we got the human pumpkin seed.
Favorite Peanuts character?
I think it'd be too easy to say Charlie Brown or Snoopy.
Centipede.
Yeah. Linus is great.
Lucy.
Lucy made me laugh. She always made me laugh.
She won't move the football. She won't move the football.
You would have figured out after all these decades, you would have figured he would have caught on it by now. But nope, we've been how many decades later and he still hasn't caught on it?
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's Charlie Brown. He still would.
I like when they made fun of that on Saturday Night Live. And I think it was when Brendan Fraser hosted. Brendan Fraser was Charlie Brown, and he's like, "You're not gonna move the football." Oh no, I'm not. And so he goes to kick it, and he falls. He's like, "Oh, I'm bleeding from the head here." Or maybe it was Chris Kattan. No, Chris Kattan was Charlie. And he's like, "I'm bleeding." Oh. They were like, "Why did you move the football? You said you wouldn't."
You're not gonna move it, right? No.
Actually, I think the coolest Peanuts character was like the teacher or any adult, just because of the easiest to impersonate. It's the easiest to impersonate.
Oh, right. That was what was great about Peanuts. Yeah. No adults, no grown-ups at all. Just wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, and they're just like, yes. A human-shaped pumpkin growing from the ground. Yep, there we go. Well, there was the movie Motel Hell when he buried him in the ground.
There might be one growing right now.
Those people trying to make all those sounds where the vocal cords were cut.
Their heads were buried in. Yeah.
And one of the best final lines for a killer. I must confess, I used preservatives. This is his last words before he dies. his death confession.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Good times, good times.
And of course, his sister, where you can kind of hear her. I mean, she's halfway underground with the legs sticking up.
Yeah. There was also an episode of Hannibal where they buried some people too. There was an episode. There was a killer that was burying them, and I think they had what was it? It had something with their blood too. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've watched it, but that was a good episode. Another question I always ask everybody, what's something that fans may not know about you besides your interest in theater? Any other hobbies or talents or anything you could share?
Well, I'm a retired greenhouse grower, so I've grown a lot of plants. No sunflowers, though. Although
I was
I
going to
did
say,
tell
perfect for the stocking.
right now. Although I did try to tell Jeff, why would you malign the beautiful sunflower? And he didn't even answer me. Really, he just kind of shrugged.
At least it wasn't a honeysuckle. I'm a big honeysuckle fan as a kid. We used to have them all over the place in Virginia, where we used to live. You just had this whole fence of nothing but honeysuckles.
Oh, yeah, honeysuckles are great. So yeah, well, I'm retired now, but I did used to have greenhouses up here. Grew a lot of plants. I did. Yep.
I used to do plants, but unfortunately, because we had all the heat up here and all the smoke and stuff, nothing was really growing. I'd be doing like zucchini and tomatoes and bell peppers, and I'd take care of it, but the weather got real bad up here. I live in an agriculture area, and we'd get bad heat and bad wind at one point, and the cherries were, getting damaged and stuff. Although the hops, of all the things, seem to survive. Such a god-awful smelling thing. They had a truck that, because hops, they use them in alcohol. They had a truck that actually, it tipped over one time, and the hops were all over the road. We went by, and I smelled it and had to make these jokes about being drunk off the smell, because that stuff just is.
Oh, they stink?
One time, my uncle who lives up in Seattle, he wanted some. So what I do, I put it in a bag, inside a bag, inside a bag, inside a container. Like, I am not going to be in a car for 3 hours with that stuff because I don't want to smell it.
I never realized that. So where do you live? Where are you, in Canada or?
Oh, Washington State. I live in Washington State, particularly the area I am, grows more hops than anywhere else in the country. And so we have a ton of them here. My area is also called the New Wine Valley. We're not as big as the other Wine Valley, but there's a lot of Ma and Paul type stuff. They're giving tour. They actually had a class at the college because they said they knew how to grow everything and how to make it. Marketing, they didn't know. I should have took advantage of that class.
Yeah.
Except I would have been the guy going, before I market it, can I test it?
So whereabouts in Washington? Because like I said, I was a Navy brat, so my dad was stationed in.
Well, I live in the area called Yakima, but when my dad retired, he was stationed at what used to be known as the Norfolk Naval Air Station. Now it's just the Norfolk Naval Station. Was where he retired at. Which.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I said, for some reason they changed it so it's no longer the Norfolk Naval Air Station.
Oh. Well, I used to live when I was little, my dad was stationed in Marietta, Washington. We lived in Ferndale, Washington, which is near Bellingham, Washington.
I see, because my dad, at one point, he was stationed at Bremerton or somewhere. Bremerton, well, I call it Wannabe. It's Woodby Island, but I call it Wannabe Island.
Whidbey Island. I think I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
for some reason, I always like to call it Wannabe Island.
I think it's
Wannabe Island.
remember that. I think I do.
It has a replica, a life-size replica, I believe, of the Flintstone car. I mean, this thing, you can literally, of course, it's not going to move, but you can literally sit in this life-size stone replica of the Flintstone car.
It's beautiful up there. It is beautiful. I still remember it. I was 9 years old, and I still remember up there watching.
Yeah, it does get more eastern, more western. It gets beautiful. The rest of the state, we don't get that good weather.
Oh yeah, along the
But
coast.
yeah, it gets pretty beautiful out there and stuff. And going to the mountains,
Yeah.
just never be in the mountains during snow.
No.
I made that mistake. We had a guy drive past us, sped past us. We had to get pulled over to put chains on our car. When we get the mall, we get 5 minutes down the road, and there he is, embedded in the snow. You don't want to laugh at the guy, but it's just like,
Yeah. That's snow. Flesh-eating honeysuckle. Ooh.
Yeah.
hey, leave honeysuckles alone.
That would be a good movie.
They're sucking out eyeballs too. Honey, I'm home. Not honeysuckle. Wrong honey.
Well, it's kind of funny because actually I remember picking honeysuckle flowers and sucking on them too. So yeah, flesh-eating honeysuckle actually would be good. Yeah,
it's what I used to do as a kid.
We'll have to tell Jeff and Mark that we got another movie for you. There you go.
Just make him sing like that other famous killer plant.
That Audrey to you. I know we're talking about plants here, but I did want to ask you one. The Amityville's the Death House. How was it? How long did it take to change the makeup to make you look like your old sick?
Oh my gosh, that was a long. You know what?
Look.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That was a long time ago. Yeah. Actually, who did that makeup was Brett Piper. Remember, I was telling you about Brett?
Yeah. Okay.
Brett did that makeup, and let me tell you, that took hours. It must have taken 2 hours. I sat there, and it took him 2 hours to put all that on my face.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a lot.
I could tell that was pretty in-depth work there. That was probably one of the best makeup jobs that I've seen.
Yeah, that was Brett. Yeah.
I think some people actually have fallen asleep if the makeup takes long enough.
I believe it.
It's like, okay, it's going to take us a few hours, and then it's kind of like...
I believe it.
Especially if it's like early in the morning, you're just like, okay, it's going to take a few hours. I can catch a few Z's.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it takes a long time.
Does it ever get uncomfortable doing
Anthony,
that makeup?
Well, you don't want to be hot and sweaty when you're trying to keep that. If you get hot and sweaty, that's very uncomfortable. But I know that drag queens use a little fan when they're putting on their makeup. They put a little fan right in front of their face while putting on makeup because you don't want to sweat when you're trying to put on makeup. That's no good. That doesn't work. But for that time, it was probably in the winter time or in the fall. I don't remember it being hot when Brett put that. It wouldn't
be. Yeah, that time of year it wouldn't be.
Yeah. Good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah.
Spring, summertime, especially summertime, would be be
Yeah.
horrible.
Just horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Well, I know in some of the movies, I can't think of offhand, but I know there's been certain ones where like the snow is digitized and stuff, and I guess it's not really winter, but it must be hot like during the summertime or whenever it's not wintertime and having to wear jackets or sweaters. Or
that was one of the Trimmer movies, the one where they're in like the snow. It was like shot in Africa or something, and they had to wear these coats, and it's like, oh,
yeah.
I'd be like, just kill me off right now. Just change the script and kill me off. I'm tired of cooking.
Yeah,
I'm not a potato.
Hey, nobody said acting would be easy. Okay.
And yet we're talking about makeup. If you go back, I think it's the old Incredible Hulk show. I think there's one episode where he's finding a bear in the water, and they say if you look close, you can see the makeup coming off Lou.
Oh, I'll have to find that episode.
I believe it.
Got to have that waterproof stuff on, so if you're doing a water scene, it just doesn't come off.
Yeah.
Is a honeysuckle the same as a huckleberry, or that's a blueberry? What kind of flavor is honeysuckle? And Echo, is it like a huckleberry?
Well, it's been so long since I've had a huckleberry. And a honeysuckle. I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time.
No, honeysuckle is huckleberry is a berry bush like blueberry, but the honeysuckle flower is a long trumpet. It's not a big flower, but it's trumpet. Yeah. It's trumpet shaped.
Kind of white.
Yeah, it is, and it's or sometimes yellowish, but at the end where you pluck it and you suck on the end that you pluck it off, that's what's sweet. It's just like it's nectar. Yeah.
And as a kid, it was just like when we had that fence that they were all growing on. It was so fun to go and pick them and just have them.
Yep.
You say, "Oh, I have to try both of them." It's like, okay.
Just like my sister. It's like
good. Try it out.
Just be careful of bugs.
Yep. All right. Well, I do have to work in the morning, so I don't know if there's any more questions or if you're ready. I'm sure you're hot, like you said, ready to get to the air conditioning. And I mean, it's been fun, but I got to get to work too. So, I mean, unless there's any other messages or we can find you on Facebook or anything you'd like to share.
Oh, I have no messages. No, I should get on that Tubi so I can see some of the movies I've been in. And it's been a pleasure. It's a pleasure to meet you, Stephen. And if you ever, and I enjoyed very much talking to Tim because, like I said, when we're shooting a movie, we're usually just like sitting there waiting for our next scene. So it was good to listen to talk to him. So it's been fun. Thank you, Stephen.
Yep, and you're always welcome back once we do anything else. So,
thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you too, Echo, out there in Washington State. Yep.
All right. Well, thanks again, and you have a great night. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you. You too. Good night.
Bye. All right, and thanks to everyone in the chat, and we'll see you next week. So, I do have to talk to Sadie. There may or may not be some issues. I'm waiting to hear back. So if not, I'll figure it out. But hopefully it'll still work out.
I have a whole bunch of movies ready. And when I was at Walmart, I did find
the Space Quest?
Space Wars. Yeah, Space Wars.
Yeah, Space Wars. Yeah.
They actually had movies at Walmart for once. But I had a few.
A few.
And a few is better than zero.
That is true. You got a few that were new. That rhymes. I knew a few movies there. But all right, so thanks to everyone in the chat watching the replay, and we'll see you next week. Have a good night. See ya. Bye.